But it now looks, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, it now looks like the corporate media is starting to wake up a little bit. Only took them, 2 years. Here's Jake Tapper yesterday.
I think that it's fair to say Senator Bernie Sanders, when it comes to polls, among the declared candidates, when it comes to polls, when it comes to fundraising, when it comes to the number of contributors, when it comes to the fact that his dollar amounts, the average contribution is so small, without question, I think Bernie Sanders is a front runner, don't you think? Of declared candidates.
That's the key caveat that you're making, right? Yes, among declared candidates, you've got to say that's true for Bernie, but he benefits from a very broad field. Once you get Biden in that, of course, all of a sudden that top tier, Biden bests Bernie Sanders in most polls. Look, I think Bernie's got a very intense, devoted cadre. He shaped the direction of the party, and in a very wide primary, could his 20-25% of hardcore supporters be enough? Maybe. But the second Biden gets in the race, that statement's no longer operative. And I do think we all know what this is about. These are brushback pitches against Biden. Can he handle a leftward drifting party? Not his first rodeo. Assuming he can, that statement's no longer operative.
We should point out that there's a lot of talk online right now, especially among Sanders supporters, about a column by the Washington Post's Dana Milbank, who writes that Bernie is the Trump of the Democratic Party. Fundraising and polls show that many Democrats think that the best answer to an angry old white guy with crazy hair, New York accent, and flair for demagoguery is, well, another angry old white guy with crazy hair, New York accent, and flair for demagoguery. It's not difficult to picture a scenario in which Bernie captures a Democratic presidential nomination with the same formula that worked for Trump with Republicans in 2016. Yeah. Forgetting for a second the hair and the New York accent and all that stuff, it is actually easy to look at the race and say, you know what, lots of candidates, a guy with a very strong following and 30% of the vote or so, like Trump did in 2016, that Bernie could do that in 2020.
Yes,
and win the nomination.
Look, people underestimated Bernie Sanders the entire time that he was running against Hillary Clinton last time. The guy got 47% of the vote against the entire Clinton-Obama machine in a year that Hillary Clinton should have had a wrong. And he never stopped running for president. He just changed it to Medicare for all. I've been with Bernie, in states and in places he's getting 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people to come out to hear him give the same speech they've heard a million times, 9 months ago, 12 months ago, 16 months ago. He never stopped running for president. He has the biggest social media operation. He's got a bigger social media operation than some people who do it professionally. You've got corporate, we call it now this and that kind of stuff. So I'm just saying, people continue to underestimate the insurgency in our own party.
That's like the only thing they have in common. Can I just say?
No, fair enough.
So there you have Jake Sleepy Eyes Tapper, because I've never seen him actually challenge anyone powerful, but that's okay. I kid. I just play with you, Jake Tapper. This is very interesting to me. You heard Jake Tapper make the point that Bernie's the front runner of declared candidates. I don't actually think that's correct. I think he's the front runner, period. I'm going to show you another poll that, conspicuously missing, is explaining just how many young people are you polling. Because all of these polls somehow are finding that Joe Biden is up by 10 points. Well, how many young people are you polling? Because if you are oversampling older people, yeah, he'll be up. In some cases 7 points, in some cases 10 points, he will be up by that many. But that's never discussed. These polls create a narrative, and then CNN says, well, Joe Biden is the front runner. No, I'll show you this poll. I'm not just saying this because I personally like Bernie. I'm saying this as somebody who wants all the information, who wants the numbers. I don't think that's a lot to ask. Here's Morning Consult poll. And they say on a daily basis, Morning Consult interviews over 5,000 registered voters across the U.S., blah, 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 blah. So, the most recent poll, their methodology, right? They say on the Democratic primary, our Democratic primary results are reported using 12,940 interviews with registered voters who indicate they may vote in the Democratic primary or caucus. For those who say they don't know or no opinion, they are asked to pick a candidate they are leaning towards, which are factored into the results. The margin of error for potential Democratic primary voters is +1, -1. Okay. So, Joe Biden. Changed from last week. He's at 33%, down -2. Bernie Sanders, 25%. Kamala Harris, Beto O'Rourke, 8%. Elizabeth Warren, 7%. All right, so you got Joe Biden up by 8 points. How do you get to that? Joe Biden in the early primary states. Joe Biden is up by 9 points. How do you get to that? I don't know. They don't tell you. Very favorability. Bernie Sanders, 33%. Joe Biden, 41%. Somewhat favorable. Bernie, 43%. Biden, 36%. Okay. But how are they getting to these numbers? Where are the age breakdowns? If you find it and I'm missing it, let me know. Net favorability, Joe Biden, 66. Bernie, 62. Biden down 3. Bernie up 5. Then they get into the Republican Party. Zero information on the ages of people they're polling. Now, this might sound like a boring topic to you. It's not, because this is one of the ways that narratives get framed. This is one of the ways that they subtly rig the primary, because it's the same thing that CNN did, including in their reporting in 2016, the superdelegates, lumping those in with the pledged delegates. Of course, that was intellectually dishonest. Superdelegates don't actually vote until the nomination, until the convention, so they should have been only showing pledged delegates. What they were doing by that is basically trying to seep into the public, zeitgeist. Oh, Bernie, it's already gone. He's too far gone. Hillary's clobbering him. Why even go vote? That's what they were doing. Well, these polls, and I'm not saying that the pollsters are knowingly being deceptive. I think they are subtly, because they're old school and they probably don't think it's that important to get an equal number of young people than older people. But in this context, it is, because you have a candidate that is unique in Bernie Sanders. Yes, there are definitely a big part of his supporter base that are older, even 50 plus. But this candidate crushes every other candidate, age 18 to 29, as well as, if you put it bigger picture, he's wins like 35 to 49. These are millennial voters and then whatever's above millennial, Gen Z, Gen X, I think. So if you're putting out poll after poll after poll that shows Biden up 10, Biden up 7, some have Biden up more than 10, don't you think you should offer the details of how many people age 18 to 29 or 18 to 29 and above 30? So some polls have it 18 to 29, some polls have it 18 to 34. So let's just say, how many people are you polling 18 to 34? How many people are you polling 35 to 49? I think the reason they don't disclose that, I think the reason Quinnipiac, CNN, Emerson, and Morning Consult has not gotten back to me is because they are underpolling young people to spin a narrative that Joe Biden is winning. Well, I'll say this. If they poll an equal amount of young people, it could be close. Joe Biden could be up 3-4 points. He could be up margin of error. I mean, he was the vice president to Obama. Don't get me started on Obama, but nationally he's still fairly popular. But, I mean, 3 to 4 points, I wouldn't call that he's the front runner. If it is, he's up 3 to 4 points. What exactly is he doing right now? I mean, why such a prolonged wait? I was talking to Jen, keep it real. I think Joe Biden and his people, they might be expecting some more women to come out. They might be expecting worse stories than just, getting into people's personal space. I have no evidence of that, to be clear. I'm not reporting anything. It's just my hypothesis. But they could be waiting this out because they would rather deal with it before he officially runs than after he launches. So don't think that as I report right now and as I speak and you comment, don't think they're not swatting away media outlets that are reaching out to them, because there's a lot of media outlets digging in and speaking with women that might have reached out to them. I know Jen right here at Status Quo has reached out to one or two women, and we're trying to verify any claims because obviously we want to be responsible. So, bottom line, I think Bernie's the front runner. I think Bernie's on fire, frankly, and I think the fact that he is the front runner and he is on fire, expect a lot more negative pieces in the Washington Post and the New York Times, and expect CNN, MSNBC to heat up, to rise up the temperature. They're not going to give the nomination to him. They are going to try and take it away. And I will be here every step of that way to expose it. Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statusquo.com where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statusquo.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.